Dear participants of the InSEA European Congress in Baeza. My name is Pavla Baštanová and I am a PhD student at the Department of Art Education, Faculty of Education, Palacký University Olomouce in the Czech Republic. It is our great pleasure to present you the project which we, a group of researchers from said university, are currently involved in. The title of our project is The Coronavirus Pandemic as an Opportunity for Pedagogical Innovation, Research of Didactic Resources of Art Museums and Galleries.
Hello, my name is Jana Jiroutová and I work at the same university and department. The primary objective of our project, which began in March 2020, is to analyze the production of educational departments of galleries and art museums of the Czech Republic. In particular, we focus on online accessible educational resources that art museums and galleries began to create mainly as a response to the pandemic situation and the closure of museums, galleries, and schools that was introduced back in March 2020.
Hello, my name is Kateřina Mesdag and I am a PhD student also at the same university and department. The main outcome of our project will be a monograph in which we aim to identify and further analyze online accessible digital educational resources created by educational departments of art museums and galleries. Furthermore, we will also address the ways in which they have been presented to the public and used by art teachers for distance teaching of art education. They will also be analyzed as a source of inspiration for face-to-face classes of art education in the future.
Hello, my name is Petra Šobáňová and I'm based at the same university and department as well. The monograph will also present a typology of educational resources of art museums and galleries, which will be formulated on the basis of case studies. Individual categories of the typology will include examples of virtual educational resources of art museums and galleries from the Czech Republic as well as from abroad.
The data of our research that we have processed so far show a huge boom of newly emerging types of forms and material-based educational resources of art museums and galleries in the Czech Republic. This rapid growth of new forms and especially online educational resources of art museums and galleries is the result of the new society-wide need for distance education. We have found that the current typology no longer corresponds with today's practice and therefore a new typology must be created.
Today, we can only present partial results because this is an ongoing project. Until now, we have analyzed 10 types of online educational resources produced by art museums and galleries in the Czech Republic. These include the following categories: Motivational Challenges, art creative and expressive interpretative. Educational video clips. Educational tutorials. Video workshops for children linked to exhibitions. Interactive websites. Interactive games, quizzes. Worksheets. Podcasts. Mobile applications. Virtual tours of permanent exhibitions. In the next part of our presentation, we will look at 3 types of online educational resources that we have analyzed so far. We will introduce art creative motivational challenges, educational tutorials, and interactive websites. Each category will be briefly characterized and illustrated by examples from galleries and art museums of the Czech Republic.
The purpose of Motivational Challenges is to offer online visitors the content of fine arts as a source of inspiration for their creative, artistic, or other creative expressive work. They are often linked to the collection of a given art museum. Motivational challenges are published by art museums and galleries on social networks as events, and their accompanying content is offered on the website of the relevant museum and is freely downloadable in a PDF format, often with illustrative step-by-step photo instructions. To show visitors what to do and to attract their attention, challenges can also be published in the form of a trailer, as evidenced by the following example. The art creative challenge called Soap Sculptures is the first challenge from the series of 9 challenges entitled The Art of Being at Home. The challenge motivates visitors to engage in a creative activity in their homes without the need for special art tools or materials. It is inspired by the artwork called Bud by Jana from the collection of the National Gallery, Prague. The challenge is available in both a trailer and a PDF format, which provides a photograph of the artwork and instructions in 5 steps with 10 illustrative photos of how to proceed at home using available work tools such as a knife and potato peeler and available materials such as a soap. So we can create a useful sculpture which indirectly encourages visitors to wash their hands, which has been very important right from the start of the pandemic. The aim of this challenge is to give online visitors an opportunity to experience the process of creating their own sculptural work.
Another type of an online educational resource of art museums and galleries that we've analyzed are educational tutorials. The purpose of educational tutorials is to demonstrate some of the principles of art making using a suitable example from fine arts. So it's not just a simple manual on how to proceed in order to achieve a final result, make a gift, decoration, etc. Nor is it a simple practice of a skill. It is rather an attempt to demonstrate and mediate a principle of art making that can be identified in the work of a selected artist. As part of the museum presentation, those interested in art are offered tutorials on social networks, as the following example shows. The video entitled Jiroutová, produced by the Educational Department of the Prague City Gallery, was created during the coronavirus closure of Czech schools. The tutorial introduces the work of the Czech painter Jiroutová, his principle of art making with bold colors and other aspects of his distinctive penmanship and style. The video explains the theory of color, primary, complementary, contrast colors, and motivates visitors to engage in their own art making by combining complementary colors and compiling their own multicolored images from objects around us.
The last example of an online educational resource that we are going to show you today is interactive websites. These are not classic e-learning platforms, but rather web presentations that an art museum or gallery uses to communicate with target groups. The purpose of interactive websites of art museums and galleries is to acquaint online visitors with the content of fine arts by providing them with an interactive, dynamic, and playful experience.
The interactive website Why Art is part of the portal of the international educational platform entitled Máš umělecké střevo, which can be loosely translated as Have you got a sense of art? focused on contemporary art and the way it is taught in primary and secondary schools. The website is preceded by the printed publication Why Art? The interactive website complements the publication with educational materials such as worksheets, videos, a time machine, or interactive timeline with a historical overview of fine art, a map of galleries and museums involved in this project, and the rich visual material of their collections. The authors work interactively with the title page, using it as a guide while reducing contents to the most frequently asked questions related to fine arts. The questions are supplemented by interactive pictograms, which give answers when clicked on.
Although our research is currently ongoing and it is too early to draw conclusions, we can already see that the new types of educational resources have emerged, and they are rather influenced by current methods of electronic communication. Here, too, the classic says, the medium is the message, applies, meaning that the medium, that is the internet and especially the social network through which the educational resources we analyze spread, also changes the content itself. Technology has provided us with an environment and communication channel, thanks to which, for example, galleries could communicate with their audience, and thanks to which teachers could stay in touch with pupils during the pandemic. But the technology also influences content and its stylization and didactic transformation.
It will be interesting to further analyze these changes and pay attention to their positive aspects, but also to the risks they may present. In any case, some phenomena are obvious at first glance, such as speed, brevity, a tendency toward amusement and sometimes even flashy nature, a certain superficiality, or the adoption of formats known from social networks, typically challenges. At the same time, striking features of high-quality educational resources are creativity and playfulness, as well as a tendency to stand in opposition to the above. In the fast and superficial world of networks, educational resources that are well thought through challenge us to slow down and to think. They offer more demanding content as well as unusual visuals, making the feed full of advertisement and fashion images more interesting. They may offer a creative game using the principles of network communication, humor, or nonsense.
We are looking forward to the results of our research. The descriptions and analysis of various original approaches, as well as the ways of didactic transformation of the content of fine arts, will help us identify key trends of the current times. We recognize that our research can provide important feedback to the creators and galleries, but can also be of interest to art teachers. It turns out that galleries are their very important partners who can enrich classical teaching not only with classical educational programs, but also with a huge range of interesting educational resources. We believe that our proposed monograph will provide a clear report on these resources and will help expand these different types of educational resources of art museums and galleries into pedagogical practice.
Dear colleagues, I would like to thank you on behalf of our team for your attention. I would like to ask you, if you use online educational resources of our museums or galleries with your students, please share them with us by sending a link to this email address. And perhaps a brief comment on why and how you work with the resources. Thank you very much and goodbye.